Hello and welcome to the Scrap Metal Armory. In today's video I will be making houses for miniature gaming. We'll be making 3 different models with different materials and different techniques. This turned out to be a lie. In this video it will just be me making one house. This is because I realized that if I tried to make 3 houses I would never be done. This took me far too long. I don't have time to work on this full time, so that's why there will only be one house in this video. The other ones will come in later videos. Along the way I will be speaking about the technique I'm using, the material and yeah, things like that. The materials I will be using today are regular cardboard. Most miniature gaming builders will be familiar with this. This is balsa wood. I have actually never used it, almost never at least, but it will be interesting to try. I'll also be using this for a straw roof. It's a brush, but this works. It will work, I think. And this here is some kind of dense styrofoam that I got for free. It will also be used. As I said, I will be talking more about the materials and the techniques while I'm building it, so let's get right on to it. All the houses I will be making in this video is for 28mm miniature gaming. At least for this house I will be using this ring wraith from Lord of the Rings. I don't know if it will focus, but yeah, that's not important. This will be my measuring stick to make sure it looks good for 28mm miniatures. Now I will be making what in Sweden would have been called skiftesverkshus. I was certain this was called a wooden frame house in English, but I looked it up and at least according to Wikipedia, this is a post and plank house. I have never heard that expression before, but yeah, that might be true. These houses were usual in Sweden around the 1100s and 1200s. They were easy and cheap to build, and I hope that will translate to easy and cheap to make miniature gaming house. They would often have stone floors, which I will try to make from this here, the dense styrofoam I showed in the beginning of the video. The main bulk of the house will be in balsa wood, and it will have a straw roof that uses the brush I also showed in the beginning of the video. Can't talk today apparently. It will be using this as a straw roof, this brush here. I will now start with the floor, and right now I have to decide how big I want this house to be. And as I said, this little man here will be my measuring stick, well, together with a measuring tape. And because I did tell you in the beginning, I would tell you how long these houses took to make. So I will of course now start a timer. I think 20 times 10 centimeters will be quite a good measurement for this house. Maybe a little bit bigger. Just for the sake of it, let's say, why not 23 times, 23 times 12, why not? I'm just making a little dent here to see how long it should be, and this is just one of the wall sections. Well, the base for one of the wall sections. This wall section here, as I said, it's just the base for the wall, and I just want to make it reasonably big, maybe as high as his halfway up to his knee, maybe. Oops, that was not very straight. We'll see if I can make do with this anyway. Nope. I failed here. And I knocked down my microphone. Now let's see if I can... Well, I can't use this piece I tried to make. It just broke off. I will have to make it a little bit denser, I think, a little bit thicker. Unfortunately. Yeah, we will try on the side here. I think I will cut it and then I will be back to you because, well, if I cut on this side where I need to cut right now, it's too big to fit on the camera and, well, you will just hear a lot of noise like this. I'll be right back. So, now I cut off a piece big enough to actually, well, small enough to actually work with on camera. So, this piece here, it's a bit too long, so I will have to cut it off. Well, just a centimeter or so. And I did realize while doing this that I will have to make it a lot thicker than I first wanted to. Because it was quite a good length, I will make the house 24 centimeters instead of 23. Because then I don't have to do much with this. So now I will just cut this about half a centimeter or a centimeter thick and 24 centimeters wide or long. Now I'm hoping that I will be able to make this look like, at least look a little bit like limestone, because that was quite a usual, I think it's limestone at least, otherwise I will put the right name of the stone sort in well, on the bottom of the screen. But yeah, it was a very usual building material here in southern Sweden. But of course then I will have to... It's quite rough, that's good, that is what I want, but I will have to make it look like there are many different stones, not just one big slab. So I will try to cut out little pieces in between here. Like, I don't know if you can see it here, but yeah, this piece here I'm trying to separate it a little bit without actually separating it. I'm not certain this is the most fun thing to watch, but it's actually, at least to make this, is quite relaxing actually. So yeah, this is a good thing. It's quite nice to make actually. You do get a lot of small pieces like this. That's quite irritating. Not as much as with regular styrofoam though. Yeah, now we have, I don't know how well you will be able to see it. Yeah, now we have this segmented blue thing that I hope will look like stone when I'm done with it. First I didn't think I would paint this while the timer was running, but I realized it will be so much easier to paint this grey before I put everything else on it, so I think I actually will go and get some water and then yeah, paint this. Now I will paint it, and I will use medium sea grey model color. I bought this from Warlord Games. They make bolt action and other, well, at least they sell bolt action and other miniature games, but well, I just happened to have this one at home. I could have used anything, Citadel or any other brand. So it took a while, but now at least I got well, some color out of it. will just paint the stone slab. Well, what will become the stone slab, I hope. I'm trying to be quite efficient with the color and also with the time, so I will not be painting the thing that will be on the ground here. I will not be painting it, there's no need. Could probably pass as a rock grey. I don't know if the lighting in here is perfect to see that, but I think this could pass as rock grey. Maybe some wash or something when I'm done with the house will make it to look even better. Now of course I will be forced to make 4 more of these. 3 more of these actually. 1 the same length and 2 shorter. I think I will make them off camera actually, because, well, you have seen me make one. It won't be very interesting to see me make more of them. So I will be back when I have 3 more of these. Now I have 4 of these. Well, could call them walls if you wanted to. 4 of these foundation pieces for the walls. To begin with, I actually thought that I would make the entire floor of the building of the same material, but both because it was quite time consuming to do, and because well, to try some different materials, see how they work together and so on, I decided to just make an easy floor out of a piece of cardboard. So I will just glue these to the cardboard here using regular super glue. You can probably use pretty much any glue you have at home for this. I think that it will not make any much of a difference. Yeah, super glue is good. To hold it down for a bit because it's not quite straight. Good, and then the other pieces. I would actually recommend some other type of glue because super glue is quite expensive for this, and you probably could use with some other kind of glue, but this is what I had at home. If you use super glue, you should probably sit in a room with good ventilation because it's quite strong, at least when you use this much of it. I will actually turn that one around, I think. Yeah, I think it will look better. As you can see, I have left myself a piece of cardboard outside of it. That's just, well, it gives me some options. I could cut it away, or I could use it to, well, put some grass or something on it, just to make it look a bit nicer. Now I will have to let this sit here until it dries. Until the glue dries. Now I'm back and the glue has dried, and looking at the result, I would absolutely recommend some other type of glue. I think this will work. It won't be the most stable thing in the world, but yeah, I think it will work. However, I realized that these stones here are a bit too high to be the foundation of the house. If you look here, they almost go up to the knee of the nazgûl. That's a bit too high for this kind of house. So I decided just to easily cut out a new piece of cardboard that I will just put down in here. Hopefully it will fit. But before I put it down, I will put some glue on the other side here so it will stick to it. It probably won't need much just a little bit here and there. There won't be much force applied to it, so it doesn't need more than that. And then I hopefully just can get in here without breaking anything. Yeah, almost at least. Yeah. That is a much more realistic height for the stones to be here. I might do the same on the other side. That will give other problems. This piece here will be too thick, so I will have to do something about that. But yeah, I might do that. I might also just put a lower piece of this material here by the door and make a staircase out of it. I think I will do that, but I haven't really decided, so I will leave it for now. So we're pretty much done with the bottom piece here. Of course I will paint the inside here gray, some kind of stone color, maybe try to get some of this stone pattern in here as well, but that will be fairly easy to do even with the walls and everything done. So I will leave that for now. The same thing with this, it will probably be quite easy to make some grass here or anything. So I will leave this for now. I will put this over here and I will start to work on the corners of the house and the supporting pillars. We'll use this balsa wood piece here, and well, in reality this house would probably not be much higher than this nazgûl here, but that will look quite silly, I think. So I will make it a little bit unrealistically high. Maybe 2 nazgûls high? Yeah. Let's say 2 nazgûls high. So it will be quite a high house for the time period. I haven't seen any houses that high from that time period, but well, it will look good on the gaming board, I think. I do need a new knife. Someone did tell me that balsa wood actually counted as a hardwood. I kind of see what they mean. Maybe I should have gotten a toolbox, but yeah, it worked. Now I really hope I will be able to do this. My plan is to take this here. I will just rearrange the light so it will be a little bit easier to see, maybe. My plan is to take this piece here and cut in on the sides here big enough, take away a big enough piece to put in this here as planks. I'm not certain that will work, but I hope it will. If I put this here, and I have a pen, yeah. Draw on both sides. Yeah, I can kind of see that. And now I hope to be able to cut out that part, because this is how the real houses are built. You cut out a piece of the corner, stock, whatever this is called in English. Cut out a piece of it to let the planks slide into it. I will try to do that course, they would have had a lot more sophisticated tools. I will try to do it with this knife here, that I just noticed was not sharp enough for this, I think. I'm also a little bit afraid that my fingers might take some beating here. But I will do my best to not get hurt and to do it. But yeah, there is probably a safer and better way to do this that I haven't thought of. For example, having good tools. However, I don't, so I will use the knife. But yeah, I think that worked reasonably well. Next question is, can I just get rid of this piece here? I might be able to just... Yeah, I think with a bit of work I will be able to get rid of this extra wood that I don't want. But yeah, there is a tool named stämjärn in Swedish. It really would have made this a lot easier. I will write the name in English if I can find it. But I do not own one of those. So yeah, if it will focus. Hopefully it will autofocus. Yeah, there. You might be able to see that I'm trying to... Yeah, that's a good... If it will autofocus on that, you will see it. Yeah, you might be able to see that I'm trying to make this indent here. And I actually think this is very boring to watch, so I will jump cut until I'm done with this entire piece. Thinking about it, I decided that 2 nazgûls was a bit too high, so I will decide on another length and I will cut this down. I will cut it down to 7 centimeters and see how that looks. But yeah, that will be a boring process, so I will do that off camera. Now I have made 2 of these 7 centimeters high sticks that will be in the corners of the house, here and here. I don't know if you can see, yeah, like this. But because this house is quite big, at least for medieval standard, it would absolutely at least have one more of them here in the middle, which makes me just realize that I had forgot to make a thing. I forgot that, of course, this middle post here will need this groove. You might be able to see there on both sides. So once again I will do that and then I will be back. Now I have done that. And I will say that when I got used to working with this balsa wood, it got a lot easier. It's quite an easy wood to work with. I guess that's why many people like it. So now the plan is to put one here and one, I think, here. Maybe here? Nah, there. It doesn't matter at all if it's a bit asymmetrical. The original houses would have been. I actually do not remember how these sticks would have been sitting here in the real thing, but I actually think I will just push them down into the stone. That's absolutely not how they would have done it, but I will do it that way anyway, because I don't want to sit and research it right now. I will do it a bit pointy, I think. Just a little bit to get it that much easier to stick in. Yeah. And then just see if it works. Just, yeah, no problem at all. A bit of glue just for stability down in there. I don't really think it will be needed, but yeah, I like to make my houses stable. Same process with this one. And then make sure it's opposite that one. And I think that is quite good. Doesn't have to be really exact, but as good as possible. Then push it down, take it up, in with some glue, and down again. Now I have two posts here and I will put planks between them, and of course I will make a third post, planks here, and do that all around the house. I think I will try to put a window here, but we'll see how it looks. Of course I will have a window on the front and maybe on the sides, I haven't decided. Of course I will need a door as well. The plan now is to first cut it off at the correct way. Yeah, so it will fit between these two. Something like this. I will cut it there. Now let's see that again. I hope that is the correct length. I'll just put away the house for a little bit. Try to make this as straight as possible. Well, that does not look very straight, but we will try it anyway. This balsa wood here is very, very soft. I do not know if there are different kinds of balsa wood or if it's just because this is, oops, because this is so much thinner. I'm not certain. Now let's see if I was about correct with the, well, how wide it should be. Maybe a little bit too wide. But yeah, this here, yeah. Actually, I think that will work quite well. I think. And now, of course, they wouldn't have had this big piece of wood. It would have had to be from a redwood or something. So I would have to cut it in smaller planks. I would like to make them really quite thin, but realistically I will have to make them a little bit thicker than I would have liked. Historically they would not have been very even, but each plank would have to be made so it was at least nearly identical to the one before it, so that there wouldn't be a big hole between them in any place. So I will just try here. So it doesn't really matter if I cut it straight or not. Yeah, like that will most likely work. This balsa wood really falls apart. Maybe it's bad or something. I do not know. Now if I try to put it in here, in reality you would of course have to slide it from the top, because these wouldn't move, but yeah, I'm a bit lucky and they do move. So yeah, this is looking quite good actually. And of course they would have to, yeah, we can actually show it here. Because the stone in the bottom isn't entirely straight, there will be, yeah, holes down here. Would have been, yeah, they would have put gravel or earth or something there. I will probably do something similar. Yeah, let's try it. Like this. And then, let's see. It's a little bit too long actually. I will just cut away a very small part. A few millimeters. Hopefully I didn't cut away too much. Oh, I might have done actually, but no. I think it will work. It will work because of the magic power of glue. If I did that mistake with a real house, I would have had to start over, but I think I can save this here. Now we just have to wait for the glue to settle. God. Actually, I think I did make it too small. Oh. You didn't see it, but yeah, this piece here fell loose. So yeah, another glue for that. I think I will have to go and find another glue to put this piece back, and then I will cut a few more of these, preferably the correct length. Then I will be back. So well, I realized I made somewhat of a mistake here, because I put these both, well, posts I guess, on here first. Then I tried to take and make these, well, boards. It should fit in here between them. This is of course how you would have done, well, would have done it in real life, but because we're doing it in an entirely different scale here, I'm having a bit of a problem with getting this the exact right well, length of the board. So what I actually will do is cheat a little bit. I will take away this one, didn't fit very well anyway. I will take my plank and I will make sure it fits with this one first, and I will do this the entire way up here. Do a lot of different planks with this one. Then I will put this one, then I will put the post. Yeah, that's the word for it. Then I will put the post here, and hopefully everything will work fine. So now first let's put some, this is just regular super glue, and I think it would probably be enough to just put it on the post side, but I will put it on the underside here as well. Something like that. Make sure that everything fits well together. And then we wait. Maybe not the most exciting thing to watch. Oh, yeah, something like that. Now, the next step here, as I said, is to make a lot of planks, approximately the same height as this one, as you can see, and this would have been, yeah, quite a wide oak plank. This was a real house here, and that's the look I'm going for, so that's perfect. I have also in the process here realized that super glue was not the right thing to use to get these parts here to sit, so on some of the parts I have replaced it already with wooden glue, but I will replace it all around if I need to. Now we just cut here. It's not really necessary for it to be exact, but as good as possible. Then I will see here, try to fit this as well as I can. As you can see, it does, well, I don't know if you can see that actually. Let me show you. If I put it like this, it doesn't really fit, so I now will have to try and make this fit as good as I can. This will mean carefully carve on this here. The reason I have to do this is because, well, it didn't do all too good. I didn't do an all too good job when I cut this the first time, so I lost a piece actually. So this is my own fault. And now I failed once again, but yeah, this is the work. You might be able to see that I cut a bit too much. So now I have to cut it all down even more to get the look I'm going for. Yeah, that is almost good, and I think I will be happy with that. So now I will just once again put on super glue. Now wait. At the same time I'm trying to get the post here to be halfway straight. It's not the easiest thing always, but I will try. Maybe a little bit more glue over here to make it stick really well. Yeah, no, something like that. As you see, this work will take quite a while. So I think I will just cut away until I'm done with this wall, so you can see how it will look. So now I have a almost done plank wall, well, a section of a wall at least. As you can hopefully see here, instead of having one big piece of wood, we have individual planks. They are absolutely not perfect. I'm not certain you can see it, but in a few places planks don't really meet each other. I do know a person that makes real houses with this technique, and he would not have considered this good enough, but for miniature gaming I think it's okay. I have noticed another problem with this approach. Let's see if I can make that clear here. Yeah, here you can see it's not really a straight line. So if I try to put the other post here in its original hole, let's see if it will fit. Almost. It will almost fit. I do think I will have to fix. Do I? Yeah, I think I will have to try to make this a little bit straighter this side before I put this post on. This might be a problem. This kind of wood have a tendency to splinter if you try to cut it this way. But I will try. Yeah, that is much better. A little bit of a... yeah, as you can see actually, there's a few small holes, but yeah, I think that will be enough. It will be good enough. And actually I did think that I would have to make a new hole here, but it seems that the planks are good enough length so I can use the old one I did. Now I will just measure this out one more time. Yeah, no, I think the other way around is better. Yeah, that's much better. So now we'll take more super glue, and then we just have to push it all together until the super glue dries. It is by no means a perfect wall, but as I told you in the beginning of the video, this is one of the absolute first times I'm trying to use this kind of wood for anything. So I will see it as a success if I get the house built. My nazgûl has a wall. Quite a high wall actually. This will be a big medieval house. Now I think actually I might want to make a window here. Well, it will make the house a little bit more usable in any kind of, well, in the real world as well, but in any kind of miniature scenario that have at least a window in each side. So I might make a window here, I might actually make it here and then another one on the other side and then the door here. I think that will be most aesthetically pleasing. To do that, I will have to make a few this long boards here. Actually just one, I think, to get him. He will have to be able to see out of the window. Just one or two boards in this length. Then I will have to make a post here. This is how they would have made it. I have seen it. They will have to make a post here as a window frame, and then smaller planks on both sides. But first, one or maybe two yeah, planks here. Just measure it out roughly here at least. I want it to go about here. Okay, little mark there. And we, as I said, cutting this way is not very good for the wood here. I will try to do it without splinter the wood all too much. We measure it here. Yeah, quite a good length of board here. And as you might be able to see, it splintered a little bit, but that's not really a problem. I will just continue to cut in this crack here, and that will be my first board. Yeah, I think it will work quite well actually. Down here. Now if we put the nazgûl here, let's see, is it a good height for a window? I think we can have one very small board more. I don't know if that's the way to say it, but yeah, I think you will understand what I'm meaning. One more thin board here. Broken board. look if it fits, and it should, and yeah, it fits quite well, as it should. More super glue. And make it fit as well as possible. And now we got a bit of a problem, I see here. Because that window will be too high. He won't be able to see very much out of that. So either I place the window here, I think actually I will do that. Because here, planks are a bit better actually. Yeah, I will cheat a little bit and do that. And here I have a piece, post piece. It's from these here. So I will actually just use that one. It will be quite a small window, but it's what I'm looking for. And as you might be able to see, I have just made a cutout in one side. I will have to make a cutout on the bottom and the top also. And then just glue it here. Where I want the window to be. And then we'll just put planks on top. So we'll have a hole like this. Actually, I of course realize I will have to make a cutout on the other side as well, because I will have planks there as well. Oh well, it's not too much work. Now I have this little post piece here that I will just put here, I think. So we get window like this. And then I will put a plank. Actually, I will start with planks here. And then I will just continue with long planks to get out here. Yeah, I think this will be a quite good window size. And maybe if we're lucky, we can use the rest of the pieces from this wall here. Yeah, we will be able to do it. We'll have to shorten them a little bit, but that's not a big problem. So I will jump cut until I'm done with this part here, and should start. Actually, you have seen how I make a wall like this. I will now jump cut until I'm done with this entire section of wall. Now, as you can see, the wall here is done. We just needed a pillar on this side. As you can see, the wall here is not quite straight. So what I'm doing right now is making a fissure in this pillar here. Let's see if I can put it up so you can see it. Yeah. So the uneven part of this wall will go into this fissure, and I will make another fissure on the other side, so it will go like this, another wall, and do that all the way around. That is also the way I have, as I have said, that's exactly like I have that done with these two pillars here. The difference is I'm trying to make this one a lot deeper, because this is quite uneven. An interesting fact is that I have also in the first pillar here, I forgot to make this fissure here. So we'll see when I get there. We'll see how I will fix that. I am not sure right now. Well, let's see here. I will just take the knife and try to gorge out a good piece of this wooden piece. That sounded bad, but yeah, you understand, I think. Nonetheless. If we see here, we'll try to put it like this, and I need to widen it a bit, it seems, and I will also deepen it. Let's try that again. It's a little bit wider. So yeah, it's not hard work, but it takes a little while. And of course, if I had been if I had done a better job doing this piece here, this wouldn't be such a big deal. But I never was much for exact measurements, so then I would have to do it this way instead. Even a little bit deeper than that, it seems. Now I think I will have to be really careful not to shatter this entire piece of wood I'm working with here. It's not very expensive, so it wouldn't be a big problem. It would just be quite irritating because I would have to redo all of this work. Yeah, no, it wouldn't hurt to do it even deeper, but it works this way, and because this is the first time I'm testing this kind of, well, house building, it will be good enough. Now, just as with the other, I will just do it a bit pointy so that I can poke it down into the fundament here, like this. Of course, I will glue it into place. But first, so I do not forget it, I will make a fissure like that one on this side here. So the next wall will have somewhere to be. We'll put a bit of glue down here on the point, and then I will put glue inside this fissure here, and apparently on top of my hands as well. That will be fun to get off. And just put it down here. Try to get all of the boards to line up inside the fissure, and then hold it in one place for a while. And there we have it. The first wall of this building is done. Now I will just make walls. Yeah, actually I will do it like this. I will make this wall here and this wall here, because in each of those walls I will just do maybe a window on each side. I think I will do a window on each side actually, but that's exactly the same way as I did this one. On this side here the door will be, so it might be a bit different, so I will be back when I'm showing this piece here. Now I will be making the door. As you can see, I have just made, oops, same way all around here, except 1.5 side here, and here I will be making the door. I'm doing this out of memory, but if memory serves, I think these doors most often are located next to one of these pillars here. So that's how I will do it. I can't think of any reason that it would be wrong, and I do believe it's right. In a real house, well, normal size, it would have been a very high doorstep and then a very low door. But if I look at the nazgûl here and look at the house, this house is way too big. It will look silly if the door should pretty much be as high as this window here, but further down here. That will look silly because I made this house way too big for it to look realistic. So I think I will make a door that nazgûl actually can fit through. However, to keep at least some of the look of the original, I will make a doorstep, but because this piece here, as you can see here, is already quite high, I will just make a quite small doorstep compared to how it probably would have looked in a real house like this. But otherwise, the building, the way I will build the door is pretty much exactly the same as I have built the windows. So first we'll just make a little mark here to measure out, because the first one will go all the way out. Make sure that it's not too high, so it will, hopefully this will look good. And if the nazgûl wanted to go, yeah, as I said, a bit too low in reality, but because this is miniature gaming and because stone piece there still already is quite high, this will suffice. Try to push it down into this, well, stone piece, bottom piece here, so it doesn't get all too much air in between here, because that would also not look right. And now I will have to decide how high I want this door, and because the house is way too high compared to the originals, I will make the door way too high also. So I will make it so that this guy here can actually walk through it without bending down. That is way too big, but yeah, it will look better, I think. And I won't make it all that thin either, because I want it to be realistically, I want to realistically be able to use this house for miniature gaming. So yeah, something like this. And I can't see it very well there. Yeah, so something like this. Now you will be able to see, oops, professional. So you will be able to see he would be able to walk out here, and if I make the cut here where my fingers are on this here, so about here, like this, then most 28mm figures would be able to walk through this door, and that's what I'm looking for right now. Now I'll just cut it. Oops. Or at least we make a mark here. Then, like with all of the other poles, it will have to get the walls to continue, so we make the necessary incision here. I should of course tell you what happened. I cut too close to the corner here, and this piece here. You won't be able to see it, I don't think, on the camera. Yeah, here a piece fell off. Well, houses weren't perfect then, and my miniature gaming house won't be perfect. But I think that's okay. This is such a small, non-essential piece. So I don't think it will matter in the end. Now I'm just making sure to get a little bit more wood out. And I think because I made these mistakes, I will put a little bit of glue here to just make sure it holds together. Now that of course wants to set for a few seconds, and then I can continue with working. I can continue working on it. That will have to do. Now we just cut it off from this larger piece. If it will let me. Really need to sharpen this knife. Oops, there it went. So, and now, as with the windows, I will just put it here, realizing that of course I haven't straightened that piece out. As you can see, you might be able to see at least, it's not straight here, it's not straight here either. That both those sides should be straight as possible, or even as I have done in some of the windows, and so even have some small indentation to make this easier. But I think it will suffice with just straight pieces. Now again I will look here, realize that yeah, this is probably a good door. Door width. Is that the right word? I think that's the right word. However, I realized that I had it put when I measured it, I put it just on the stone piece here. Now when I put it up here, it's a little bit too high. I think this will also look a bit weird. Now it's too big. So I will just have to cut away, how much, a few millimeters? Half centimeter, maybe. Yeah, that's better, much better. Something like this. That would look good, I think. Then we just take a bit of glue, put it on, and then we have to wait. And thankfully I noticed right away, I put this the wrong way around. So the groove of course should be on this side, so the wall can continue here. It would have been a bit of a fail if I hadn't done that. So this will take a few minutes, I think, because yeah, right now the glue just have to hold these two small surfaces together. It's quite a big feat for the glue to do that. So yeah, I think I can continue working, but I would recommend, if you do this way, be quite careful, because right now it will fall quite easily. As I said, very careful if you do it like this. But yeah, making a little mark, and then I will shorten this to the right length. Of course, if you want to be exact, you can do all the measurements. I mostly just go on feeling. That works half the time, and half the time I have to redo it. So I maybe should start measuring more. But yeah, I think this will work. I think it looks like it. Now just continue the same way as I have done all the other pieces of the house. And I will continue this way until I get here. I think I might cut here, so you don't have to see me do exactly the same thing over and over again. And when I get to the top of the door, I will be back. So, as you can see here, I have gotten up to the top of the door. I did play with the thought of making a whole door frame like we have today, by putting like this. You can see, yeah, just a stick here and put it. And I do think that would be historically correct, but I also think just putting planks on top here also will be historically correct. And because these houses I'm making here are, well, I try to make easy to make, cheap, at least for me, good looking houses. This piece here would look good, but wouldn't be necessary, and I don't think skipping it will hurt the design of the house. So now, instead, I will just put, yeah, exactly the same way as I've done all over the place. Just put planks from here, up here, and out to this piece where there will be another pillar. Then exactly the same thing will happen on the outside wall here. And then we will be finished with the walls. So yeah, that's just what I will do. So, and now I realize a problem. I will see if I can show it to you. Actually easier this way around, I think. Yeah. If I put this here, and let's see. Yeah, you see, it doesn't really fit. Pillar is a little bit too high. So in this piece I will have to cut out so it will fit on top of the pillar. I have done that in one of the windows as well when I needed. It's not the best solution, but it absolutely works, and I'm quite certain that they would have done something similar if they were in this situation. So I will just try and see that the pillar is here, and don't cut my fingers, hopefully. And then, because this piece and the one underneath here does not really fit together, I will have to work on the piece here as well to make it fit better. It is not perfect, but it's getting there. I can just show you real quick. See, you might be able to see some of the light. Yeah, there. Yeah, of course the entire wall have a bit of cracks in it, but this is a little bit too big for my taste. Try to make it a little bit better if I can. It's not always that easy to see actually where the actual problem is, so it's at this point, for me at least, it's a bit of trial and error. But yeah, I think this is good. And then of course when I glue it, I will push it down like this to get it to really stay there. Alright, it's also a little bit too long, so I will just away about a millimeter. Now I probably made it too short. I usually do, but nah, it's okay. It's not perfect, but it is okay. Yes, yeah. And just glue it on the regular way. Now I will just continue exactly how I have been building the entire house. I might jump cut now until the entire building is done. Just a little, no, of course not until the entire building is done, but until the walls are done. A little side note before I do that is here. Now if you will be able to see it, but I did forget to cut. Actually, I did here forget to cut out the piece where the board should go in. So I will just, I can't cut it now because then I would have to take it off, and then everything is glued together. It would just be too much work for that little, yeah, quite really useless piece of, yeah, building technique. What I will do is actually try to make the planks the exact right length to just go in exactly in here, and then glue it to this. It might not look quite as good because I did forget it. It is a mistake, but I think it will work anyway. So yeah, I will jump cut until I'm there. So now, as you can see, I have done all 4 walls here. So the ground floor is, well, it will only be a ground floor. But yeah, the walls for the house is ready. So now, of course, the house will need a door, and that's what I will do now. I'll just take one of these pieces here. It's yeah, piece left over from building this one here. It fits quite well. Fits quite well into the door frame. However, it's of course a bit too tall. So I will just cut it off here, so it's the right size for the door. Then I will do exactly the same thing as I have done with the house and cut it up in boards. However, I will have standing boards for the door, because I think that is the way they would have done it. That's easier. That's how we build. Yeah, that's how I would build a door, at least. So that's how I will do. And probably on the inside I will have a Z shape like this. You'll see it. Just to make it look a little bit more sturdy. Yeah, so now we just have to cut, and as usual I would really recommend measuring this. However, I'm really bad at doing that myself, so I hope this will be about the right size for the door. And this time I was quite lucky, so it fits. And as you can see, I have a little notch here. I will just cut that away as well, because I think it still will fit here, even without that. Yeah, once again, I was quite lucky, and it fits quite well, actually. So now, as I said, I will cut these to a few boards like this, exactly the way I have done with the house. Put a little bit of glue in between each of them. And while that dries, I will find a little, one more small, yeah, here, a piece that didn't really fit in. And I will actually have to cut it even thinner, because otherwise it will look weird. because this would be thinner than the door. So yeah, I have a very thin piece. Oh, I really need to fix this camera. Yeah, a really thin piece here that I will just put like a stud on the back here of the door. Before I can put it there, the door will have to dry out a little bit. I just put a little bit of glue on bottom side of the door as well here. Make it a little bit more sturdy. I don't really think I would need that. By the way, of course, it is possible to do a closable door, but for this quite simple build, I will just make a door that will stand open here. It's a lot easier. Of course, it's absolutely not impossible to make it openable, closable. Don't really know the English word for that. Seems like I have accidentally glued my door to the table. Yeah. Not a big problem. I will just have to glue the last plank here onto the door again. It's not perfect, but yeah, I don't think it would be a big problem. No. This is actually a problem I didn't really anticipate. I didn't think the door would be quite this flimsy, but then, oh yeah, it will work. Oh, I glued my fingers together. Yep. Yeah, I didn't think it would be quite this flimsy. As you can see, it just, oops, I think I dropped something. Yeah, I dropped a piece of the door. Perfect. As I said, I didn't really count on this door being this flimsy, but that is really what the Z shape is for anyway. Okay, it will have to be there, and then I will cut out this Z shape, and hopefully that will hold the door together. First I will take a piece and put it like this. Yeah, I think you can see that. I will of course glue it to the side here. And that will of course hold the planks of the door together. Yeah, it will actually have the intended purpose, the purpose a real set would have. So then I will have to cut a new piece here. That disappeared. I will make a new one. This time I will make sure to hold the end I actually want. So. By the way, I can say that I have realized probably the biggest cost in this kind of house I'm building here is probably the glue actually. Because at least in Sweden, super glue is quite expensive. I think it's 50 crowns for a small bottle like this one. That's about 5 euros, 3 pounds maybe. So yeah, and it's, I can say it's 5 grams of glue, so it's quite a small bottle. Now we have the finished door. It's quite a rough shape, but and it looks like an outhouse door. Yeah. And because I just want it to sit here like someone, I just open the door. So I will just glue it into place like this. Of course you could put it on some kind of hinge to make it shuttable. But to be honest, I do not feel that is necessary. And yeah. Now the shape of the house is, well, shaping up. I think it looks Absolutely not perfect, but yeah, for a sheepish, quite fast built house with materials I'm not used to, I think this is a good start. The next piece of the house will be to make a straw roof, and there are a few different ways I can do that. I did play with the thought of doing it historically correct, or at least as historically correct as I could, which would involve sticks going up like this, well, like this, and then the straw being bound to them in a kind of a net. Well, the sticks would be in a kind of a net and then the straw would be on top of that. I don't think I will do that because it would be a lot of work, it would be more expensive because I actually would have to buy more of this wood here, and you probably wouldn't notice the difference. So what I think I will do instead is taking a piece of cardboard in the right size and shape, and then put this straw here from this brush on top of that. I think that will look just as good, and it will be a lot easier to do and probably a lot cheaper. So first I of course will measure this out here. It will stick out a little bit on each side, as you can see here. I will make a indentation for the wall so it will actually sit on top of the wall like this, and then of course the rest of the stick will be the pillar. As you can see, this did not go as planned. Well, the top here fell off. I do not have enough material to make a new piece of this, so I will just make this a bit deeper and also the other side a little bit deeper, and hope that it will work anyway. It will work. It will work quite well, I think. And now we just, as usual, I would say as usual I will put glue in these holes, and I will do that, but I realized now that before I do that I want to make sure that this pillar here is fastened to it as well. And right now I can't even see it on the camera, and unfortunately I can't get the camera further away. As I said before, I will have to change my place of filming until the next video. But yeah, it's way too long, so I will have to cut away this much. Maybe 5, 6, 7 centimeters, something, to make it a little bit more, well, usable. Yeah, now you can see it's quite a good length, I think. These things don't have to be exact, because I have seen this pillar be in a few different places in houses like this. this will be a bit hard to show because I need to have my hand like this. Yeah, and then just mark it here and here. And then after we've done that, we will do the same thing in this one here, actually, because I will cut into both of them so they will fit together. Now we see if they fit together. Yeah, I made it made the holes a little bit too big. It can slide a little bit, but yeah, it fits quite good together. Now I will put glue in these two indentations and also in this one here to put it all together. I will actually glue it in the bottom here so it will stay on the floor as well. So now we have the pillar and support structure ready. I will have to wait a little bit before I dare to put any weight on this because, well, the glue is still quite wet is the word I'm looking for. But I can actually start to work on the roof. As I said, this roof won't be quite historically correct. I will actually be using this cardboard box from some breakfast cereal as a base for the roof. And I will cut this to the right size. And then I will put the brush hairs I have shown you before. I'll put them on top of this in a thick layer so you can't see the cardboard from the outside. And that will be my roof. Of course, that's a completely different way of making it than the historical one, of course it is. But I don't have material for doing it historically. And I will try to make this cheap, as I said, so I think about one side of this yeah, this thing here. One side will probably be quite enough, I hope. Yeah, now I think I have quite a good, it's quite hard to show on the camera. I think I have quite a good way with the roof will be quite good this way, I think. But then, of course, the regional houses would have had just a wall continuing like up straight here and on the other side. I think that looks a little bit boring, and because I have already strayed quite a bit from the original design, I think I will make the roof more sloping on each side here. So I will just cut out this triangle shape and see how that looks. Yeah, I think that looks quite good actually. And then I will do the same on the other side. Now I will have to glue this together. I do have wooden glue, but to make this not take all night, I will use my super glue. It's more expensive and probably not quite as good at this work, but it is quite a lot faster. Just gluing this like this here. Hoping it will stick. And then when that's done, I will push this one in the same way, glue it together like this, and then do the same thing on the other side. I will actually jump cut until that's done. As you can see here, I have the groundworks for the roof. Now, of course, I can't have this branded piece of cardboard as a roof. That will look silly. So now I will take these here and put them so a thick mattress, let's say mattress, on top of this. This one here is just for it to keep the shape. So yeah, I will start by doing that, and I actually now I only need the roof part for the moment. We'll put away the actual house. I will yeah, and there's my knife. I will take the brush here, cut away. This I have used once before, this material also, and done something like this. So now you see it's can at least kind of look like straw, and it will just be put on like this. And for that to be possible, I will now take wood glue and put on one side here, so I can just glue this to the roof here. Trying to get a quite thick layer and trying to get it as even as possible. As you can see, it will look quite a lot like a straw roof or a thatched roof when it's done. However, it will look like a badly, what's the word for? Badly maintained thatched roof, I think. I wanted to stick a little bit underneath this piece here because, yeah, that makes it even less likely that someone will actually see the cartoon. Yeah, I think I will have to put another layer of glue on top of this one here, then another layer of thatch, well, brush, and then I think it might look quite good. I will actually jump until the first layer is done on this side, so you can see how that will look, and then I will continue with doing the second layer. And the thing underneath, you can quite obviously see it through here, and thereby I will have to put another layer of glue and then another layer of brush here, and hopefully sooner or later this will be entirely yeah, look just like a straw roof, nothing else. As I said, this is also quite a bit of experimental, because I have used this brush once before, but not in this way really. As you can see here, a lot of the brush just fell off, and I will try to do, if necessary, many layers, but quite thin layers instead of the thick layers I did the first time here. So yeah, I will just continue doing this till I once again have covered the entire surface on this side. I will cut until that, and then I will show you how it looks again. Here we go, after 2 layers, starting to look good. I think I need a 3rd layer on some places, just to make it a little bit thicker. Then I think it's yeah, it's okay. And then of course I will continue to do this around the entire thing. So, well, my camera apparently didn't want to film, so now you can see well, the entire first layer done. Here is quite thick and well done. On the other side, I just tried to put it on in random ways, just to try and see if that will do as a first layer. Of course I will have to make a 2nd layer, maybe a 3rd and a 4th. And I will be back when I have the entire roof ready, so you can see it. And of course I will tell you how many layers of brush it became in the end. So now I have the roof quite finished, I think. The glue still hasn't dried, and as you can see here, and I hope that won't be visible when it dries. What I could do is cut it so that it would be straight, a straight line here. The people in the past probably would have done that, or at least I know it would have been a lot more well made than this is. But I quite like the rustic style of this. I don't think it's historically correct in any way, but it looks good, I think. I could also have had, right now I have 2 to 3 layers of well, brush. I could absolutely put on more layers. You can see the thing underneath in a few places, but I actually don't have any more brush left to put on. It took a lot more material here than I thought it would, so I have no choice. This will have to be done. Now there is just one thing more I will do before this house is completely done, and that is take some spare parts of wood. I can actually do it here. Cut them in planks like this, and then put them, let's see if I can make you visible. Yeah. Put them like this, and that would have been done in the historically correct houses as well, because that would have been the weight to weigh all of this down. So I will do it also. I think I will take super glue for that. I think it will be easier. Just see if I can adjust the camera a little bit, maybe. It's, yeah, something like that, so you can see the roof. And I will just put them on top like this. Just take some super glue, glue them together, and to make sure that they are sitting on top. I will have to hold them together like this, because I want them to be the correct angle, so they actually will sit on the roof. And I will actually glue them to the roof as well, but I will have to glue them together first like this. this. And then I will glue these so they will stick there. I will actually use wooden glue for this. Hopefully it will not be way too visible when it dries. But yeah, as I understand it, these would just be held in place by their own weight, and they would be there to weigh the entire thing down a little bit. And now we're done, actually. Of course, everything will have to dry, and yeah. But otherwise, it's finished. So now I will show you how it looks with a movable camera, because I do understand that this camera angle that I have been using for this entire video has been quite bad. Fortunately, the way I'm sitting, I do not have any other choice, and I will of course find another way to sit for the next video. Yeah, here is the house. I do think it looks quite good. It's not absolutely not perfect. It was just testing here, but yeah. It's quite nice, and I think it does work. Yeah, and as you can see from this angle, the roof isn't really on. I might be able to fix that, but then again, you won't see it much from this angle. Oops, something fell off. Oh well. As I said, it's a test. Yeah. So, if anyone actually made it this far into the video, I guess you would like. First of all, I would like to thank you, because I know the camera setup was quite bad in this video. I have a new place where I will be filming the rest of my videos. So hopefully, I will be able to have a better camera setup there. But yeah, so thank you. But I guess that now you would. I can't speak today. I guess now you would like to know, well, all the technical information about the building here. First off, it took me about 7 hours to build, so it's not a fast building method, absolutely not. If you were used to working with the materials, which I'm not, it would probably, you could half the time, I think, maybe even more. So that's mostly because I think that time is mostly because I'm unused to the materials. But yeah, so it took quite a long time. For me, this is also quite an expensive house. The wood material is for the boards 35 crowns. I will put the prices in other well, dollars and euro, maybe pounds as well, down here somewhere, as you can see it. But yeah, 35 crowns for the planks. Yeah, for these pieces here, 35, and I have quite a lot of that left actually. I have this much left and a few smaller pieces. So yeah, I can absolutely use that for something else. For the little stick, also of wood, I only have this little piece left. That cost me 19 crowns, so not expensive in the least, but still, I almost have nothing left of it. The brush cost me about 50 crowns, it's quite expensive, and I had used it once before, so it wasn't entirely whole when I started, but yeah, not much left of it, as you can see. I was actually quite surprised by how much of the brush I was had to use. And let's see if I maybe can have a little bit better here picture of the of the finished house. Yeah. I think it ended up quite nicely, but if I think about it, if I would do this again, I don't think so. This entire building was a lot more expensive than I'm used to. It took longer time, and it was a fun experiment, especially trying to do it as historically correct as possible. Not the roof, but the rest of the building with the planks and the windows and the support pillar in the middle and everything like that. I really liked that part. The roof was not so fun. It wasn't well, historically correct in the least either, and that might be why I didn't like it actually. If I had done my research, found a way to do it more historically correct, it might have been a lot more fun. But yeah, it took quite a long time, it was quite expensive, and unfortunately it turned out quite flimsy actually. I don't know if you can see it because I tried to fix it, but yeah, let's see here. This little piece fell out without any warning, as well as these two planks also just fell out, so I had to fix it after the house was done. So yeah, quite flimsy and not really my kind of building really. But yeah, it was a fun experiment. I hope at least someone liked the video, despite the terrible camera angle. The other houses will be coming in new videos somewhere along the lines. I don't really know when, but they will be posted when they're done. Yeah, that's all. Have a good day. I hope you liked it. Stay safe now in the I was about to say the apocalypse, but in the pandemic. Stay safe and have a nice day.